If you want to create the IG-like and very detailed and precise work, you are watching the right video. Don't skip any of the part, because I will be showing you how different stroke length and adjustment will affect your work. I will be talking not just about machines, but also about the techniques and effects that you can create with different stroke length. But first, let me explain to you what is the stroke in the machine actually means. The stroke, or the eccentric, is something that is actually built in the machine. It's something that you usually cannot adjust. And it is actually the length that the needle travels before it hits the skin. The further the distance, the harder the punch of the needle to the skin. And on the opposite, the shorter the distance, the softer the punch. With higher stroke length, it can be more traumatic for the skin. And with the too small stroke, it can be less traumatic. But in some cases, you can have problems with actually getting the pigments into the skin, because the needle is just too gentle. Please don't be mistaken. The stroke is not the same as adjustment of the needle. The adjustment of the needle you will find on each machine. There is this ring where you can adjust how far your needle will basically come out from your cartridge. That's not the same as the stroke. The stroke of the needle is just something, in most of the cases, you cannot adjust. It's something that is pre-made and pre-done in the factory when the machine is being built. But why you should care about the stroke length? It is especially important when you're choosing your machine, because it should fit with your hands. So when you have a little bit harder hands and you push a little bit harder, you should choose a machine that has lower stroke. And on the other hand, if your hands are really gentle, you can afford to have a machine with higher stroke. The other reason why we should care about the different stroke length is because we are artists. We should care about using different tools and creating different effects. The same as painters use different brushes, we should use different tools with a different stroke length that will allow us to create different effects on the skin. Machines with lower strokes create more velvety look effect, and on the other hand, the machines with higher strokes creates more pixelated effects. Which machine to choose also depends on the client's skin. If the skin is mature and fragile, you should definitely go with the machine with the lower stroke. When the skin is more thicker, you should definitely use a machine with the higher stroke. But let's talk more in details for different strokes. Let's start with the lowest stroke, that is usually around 2.0 to 2.5. And those kinds of machines are very suitable for very fragile and sensitive skin, or the areas where the skin is very thin. So you can choose this machine for the eyeliner, for example, especially for the shading, because the eyelids are the thinnest in the whole body. You can use it for the eyebrows with the sensitive skin and very fragile and mature skin. And you can also use it for very sensitive and thin lips that are very translucent. The areas where I don't recommend to use the machines with lower strokes are especially melanin lips, because the skin is thicker a little bit, and also with the eyebrows where the skin is also a bit thicker, and you would have a problem to get the pigment into the skin in such skins. To be honest, I don't like that much the machines with lower strokes, and the reason is that I cannot feel the vibration as clearly as with the higher strokes. But I do love the velvety look that those kinds of machines create, but it also doesn't mean that if I don't like it, you will not like it as well, because we all are different, our hands are different, and everybody just likes something else. The advantage of lower stroke machines is that they are really gentle, so you will not get much swelling, but the work will take you a little bit longer, and in some cases you will have a problem to get the pigment into the skin. The middle stroke length machines are around 2.8, around 3.0 or something similar, and those machines are kind of universal. You can basically use them for every area, for every type of client. I would not use those kinds of machines for body tattoos because the stroke length can be still a little lower that I would require. But for PMU, you can use it for each of the type of the skin and for basically every client. With the stroke around 3.0, you will definitely see some pixels. It will be not that velvety like with the lower stroke. So if you require more pixelated effect instead of the velvety look, then this machine will be better choice for you. Now let's have a look at the machines that have more higher stroke, and that is around 3.2, 3.5 millimeters. With these kinds of machines, I think it's only for the hands that are trained enough and the hands that can actually coordinate the pressure. Your hands should be definitely gentle and you should be able to regulate the pressure of your hand. With the higher stroke, you can really go deep very easily. So you have to be really gentle with those kinds of machines because those are really powerful. You can also do a body tattoos with them because of the needle has really lots of power, but also it can be plus because the work is very fast and it's really easy to implant the pigment into the skin. And also you will have the most pixelated effect. I do not recommend these machines definitely for eyeliner, especially for the shading, because you would get lots of swelling and lots of trauma. Also try to avoid it with the sensitive and fragile skin that reacts really quickly. Then you should change your machine for a different type. On the other hand, I do recommend this kind of machine with the higher stroke for thicker skin, for melanin lips, and for body tattoos as well. Basically on every area that is a little bit thicker, and also if you want to create really highly pixelated effect. A ten efekt bude víc takový rozpudrovaný, víc takový vzdušný. Takže tam určitě zase je to víc. And just for your information, we also do have the machines with really high stroke around 4.0, 4.5, and those kinds of machines hit the skin really hard and they are basically suitable only for the body tattoos because in body we have thicker skin, so we need more stronger hit of the needle. But now for sure you must be wondering, Veronica, you are telling all of these things about effects and how to create different effects with different stroke length, but I have only one machine that I'm used to it, I'm satisfied with it, so what should I do? Well, I have a great news for you. We just created a new machine. This is our newest Fleis pen Smart, and it is really truly the state-of-the-art, everything that the artist asked for. So this unique machine is first of all wireless, and because we know you are working a lot, we also give it to you with an extra battery. You can also adjust the length of the needle, that means how far it will stick out from the cartridge. And it is quite hard to turn, so it will not turn itself when you tattoo. And the best thing, we have adjustable stroke length. This machine can be adjusted from 2.0 to 3.5. So it is really suitable for each hands. If you have a little harder hands, if you have a little softer hands, that doesn't matter, because now you have a device that can be adjusted, and also you can create a different effect that I was just mentioning. Another absolutely unique thing is that this machine is wireless and it can work on really low speed, 3.0. That's how low you can go with this machine. And as you can hear, it's really quiet and it has really low vibrations, so I think you will just love it. I am traveling quite a lot to UK and US, so you can try there with our partners, or just reach me and we can figure something out. And as I promised you in the beginning, I have some tips how to work with different stroke lengths. And of course, you can create those kinds of effects with our smart device. Here are the tips for lips. You can start your work with the stroke length of 3.0 or 3.5, depends on the lips. You can create several passes, like 2 or 3 of them. And at the end of the work, you will adjust the stroke length to 2.0 or 2.2, and you will go over the lips once again. This will give you the more velvety and unified look. Like this, you will be saving some time, because with the higher stroke your work will be a little faster, but at the same time, with using the lower stroke at the end, you will create this velvety effect. And here is another tip for creating a beautiful gradient. Again, start with the higher stroke around 3.0 or 3.5. and create the basic layer for whole eyebrows. This will create a beautiful pixelated effect that you need, especially on the upper parts of the eyebrows. Again, go over the lower parts 2 times with the higher stroke as well. And then take a lower stroke around 2.0, 2.2, and again go around the lower and the middle parts just to create the more united and velvety look. This will give you the pixelated effect on the upper part and more velvety look on the lower part. And my last tip will be about shading eyeliner. As you know, I love the shaded eyeliner the most, and I did experiment on the eyelids especially a lot with the different stroke length. So you can see how different effects are created. I do love the velvety look on the shading. So what I do is I take the machine with the lower stroke and I do create the shading with it very nicely with different colors, and then for the lash line, I will take the stroke that is 3.0, 3.2, and I will go over the lash line with the higher stroke. The reason for that is that it's harder to get through the lashes. So most of my students, they always send me pictures that their lash line was not healed good enough. So this might be one of the reasons, because you are using too soft machine and you are not implanting the pigment right into the lash line, and most of the time it's only on the top, but it's not in the skin. The lash line is the most sensitive part and most of the clients find it painful, so I want to be quick with my work. So this is the reason why I'm taking the higher stroke. You can try it and let me know if that helps, or if you have any other trouble, just write it in the comment. And if you find this video really helpful, you can check out my other tutorials here in this channel, or you can go to our website and look at the online education that I have for permanent makeup artists. So don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next video.